Last night we did our Hungry to Speech training we do on Thursday nights. What I shared with people, how you can have a story or you don't have to have a story. How the best speakers are the best listeners. And so I listen very deeply. And some of you have seen me take someone's story. I will ask, can I take a swing at it? And they say, yes. And then I do a piece with it. And they say, how you do that? Well, this is something that I love. And so I'm always listening. So the best speakers listen not just with their ears and not being judgmental, but listen with their hearts and what touched them. So I'm going to give you an example, and this is something that coaches and salespeople and multi-level marketing people and speakers and just business people should use as a strategy to learn how to become more effective and think on your feet. And if you're called upon to give a presentation, listen closely when you're in meetings and sitting and taking notes, that if something that gets touched you, then you can use that. So I'm going to give you an example. Last night, one of our members in Hungry to Speak, one of the speakers said last night, God's up to some amazing stuff. God's up to some amazing stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, as you look at yourself, look at your goals and dreams. As we look at all that's going on in the midst of the pandemic, in and out of it, here's what we know. God is up to some amazing stuff with your life. Because in this thing called life, it's about growth. This thing called life, it's about handling and transforming ourselves to accommodate the disruptions of life. This thing by life and where we are right now, it's full of distractions. And so as you look at yourself, look at your goals and dreams. What's most important is just keep focused and allowing yourself to be fueled by your faith. My son John Leslie said that your faith is a down payment on your future. Come on, somebody. Yes, your faith is a down payment on your future. Focus on your faith, not your problems. Focus on your faith, not your bills. Focus on keeping yourself strong, living yourself and living from the inside out. Because the problems and challenges, they will always be there. Dimples was right when he had that song. If it ain't one thing, it's another. That's absolutely true. If it ain't one thing, it's another. That's a part of life. And so here's something else. Not only do you want to stay focused, keep this in mind. Good quote, good wisdom impacted in this quote. When things go wrong, don't go with them. Hello? When things go wrong, don't go with them. I'm at the airport. I'm waiting to pick somebody up. And you all, if you travel, you've seen a guy out there telling people to circle. And I was circling perhaps my 7th time, my 8th time, and he was getting on my last nerve. You know why he got on my last nerve? Because there was a young lady there that he was rapping to and trying to get a date with properly, and she didn't have to move. So I pulled right up behind her. And he said, hey, keep moving. I said, no, buddy, when she goes, I go. And I got out of my car and told him, I said, hey, I don't have any problem with you rapping to this lady here, but don't let me run all my gas out while you here trying to get your game on. And so he called for backup. I said, you can call anybody you want to call. Okay. And fortunately, you know, God looks out for babies and fools. She said, Mr. Brown? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, trouble is easy to get into and hard to get out of. Get back in your car and circle. I said, yes, ma'am. It's, you know, it's good to have someone that can disrupt your thinking, that can check you on your stuff. And what she was reminding me of, nobody knows him. And I'm up here arguing with this guy. He's got backup. And when they come, guess who they're going to put in handcuffs? Les Brown. And they don't know that chump. I'm getting mad thinking about it right now. Come on, Tyrone. I ought to send you up there because Tyrone got a black belt in karate. Okay, Tyrone, it's all right. It's all right. Calm down. Yeah, he said he should do you like that. I know. He need to know that you just Mamie Brown's baby boy. I know. Calm down, Tyrone. Just jump up and down, doing flips right now. So at any rate, there are things that's going to happen. Sometimes people will snap on you. I'm on the elevator at Emory Hospital, and they clearly, that you can only have 4 people on there at a time. Then there's a guy gonna run and jump on there to be the 5th person. I said, excuse me, sir. You see these spots here? This is 1 there, 2, 3, 4. You're not supposed to be in the middle of us. We don't know you. He looked at us and waved his hand. And I'm looking at him. And I'm saying to myself, you about to make me lose my mind. Up in here. And he's one of those people that aggravate me, who wear their mask beneath their nose. Mask beneath their nose. Then he had to sneeze, and he went, now, there's a time when people sneeze, you would say, God bless you. But now, let me get to I'm on the elevator. I can't get off. I said, hey, homie. I said, listen to me. You don't know me like that. I don't need to be in here breathing your sneeze. You better pull that up. Do you hear me? And he pulled it up because I was about to give him a touch-up up in there. So, in this place where we are, it's a special time. What are the talents? What are the abilities? What are the skills? What are the ideas that you can be working on right now in and out of the pandemic that can change your life? See, a lot of people are caught up in the distractions. A lot of people spend all kind of TV time and internet time watching old fights and sporting events. But this is no time to be a fan. This is no time to be a spectator. Listen to me. You have something special. You have greatness in you. And I believe that we all have built-in greatness. But most people don't take the time to focus, to put in the effort and the time to develop that greatness, to discover that greatness. I'm going through an experience right now. I'm reeling. Here I am, 76. God is full of surprises. And I just laid eyes on my birth mother and father, who were born in Gainesville, Georgia. Just laid eyes on them, saw the picture. And I met 2 brothers I have that I did not know, and a sister. And when we met, we were looking at each other, and they all said, and I can hear them, he acts just like Mama. My birth mother was Dorothy Bell Rucker, and her mother, my grandmother, Beulah Rucker. They have the Rucker Museum, and they both were motivational speakers. Come on now. And people say, well, it's in his DNA. What about my 3 brothers? Know the difference? I focused on this. I developed this. I spent time doing this. See, we all have built-in greatness. And if you don't focus, if you don't put in the effort, if you don't work it, it doesn't work if you don't work it. And they have chosen their path, and that's wonderful. And I say to you, when I was spending a day with Maya Angelou, she said, it aggravates me when people say that I'm a natural communicator. Show me a natural heart surgeon. They are trained. And she's right. This time where we are, God is up to some amazing stuff. This time where we are, there's a reckoning going on. This time where we are, things are being exposed, the sheet, the curtain is being pulled back. This time where we are, we're seeing the rawness and the realness of where we are and what we've been dealing with. And it's going to take everything in you. You got to be hungry. It's going to take everything in you. Take no prisoners. So this place, God is up to some amazing stuff. And if you have this kind of mindset, that you are a miracle child, there are things that God is going to do through you, for you, as you. And have this mindset. Even if you don't have two pennies to rub together, have this mindset. Even if you're going through foreclosure, I've been through that. Even if you've had your car repossessed, they repossessed my car at my cousin's house and his car at my house. You know, I learned a long time ago, to get back on your feet, all you have to do is miss 3 car payments. Oh, behave. Hello? So listen, all that, it doesn't mean anything. What matters most, not what happens to you, but what happens in you. I was talking to Vanny last night, and sometimes you think you've gone through some stuff and you hear other people's story. You say, you know what? I'm good. Vanny talked last night, and she talked about a family moving here from her country. And they used to get up at night with flashlights and look for night crawlers. The night crawlers, worms. Look for worms for several hours and put them in a can and sell them for $10 a can for people to go fishing for bait. Night crawl, 5 years, over 8 people packed in one room in pursuit of a dream, in pursuit of a better life. And she said something that was major last night. She says, do what you have to do. Do what you have to do to reach your goal, to reach your dream, to change your life. Do what you have to do. And see, a lot of people don't want to do what they have to do. You know what they don't want to do? They don't want to work, so they prefer to suffer. Commit thy works, that's internal works, and external. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. See, you are more than a conqueror. I'm having a hot flash right now. Oh, behave. I call it a power surge. Come on, Mickey Mouse, let me out. You know Mickey Mouse. I'm sorry to tell you this, got my little Mickey Mouse thing. I'm sorry to tell you this, but I want you to know Tyrone don't like you. Why are you so happy? As Orrin Hudson would say, it's the best day of my life, and yours too. How could you say that? Because you're not taking a dirt nap. If you don't think it's the best day of your life, try missing one. Hello? So, when you focus on the possibilities, when you focus and put your energy on working on finding the solution, on knowing that this too shall pass, when you focus, as Willie Jolly would say, a setback is a setup for a comeback. You have comeback power. When you focus, you activate angels in your behalf that will open doors you did not see. You have something special. You have greatness in you. Yes, you do. And your circumstances, your situation, that does not determine it. That's why we are told, judge not according to appearances. There is mindsight and there is eyesight. People who judge with eyesight, who judge based upon what they see, but people who have mindsight, they call forth those things that be not. They live out of their imagination and not their history. They call forth those things that be not as though they were. Oh, that's why my son John Leslie said, Your faith is a down payment on your future. And that's why Adam Clayton Powell, former congressman out of New York, said, keep the faith, baby. Keep the faith, even as things are going on right now, with all the divisiveness, with all the confusion, with all the lies. Keep the faith, baby, and social distancing. Keep the faith, baby. You were born for greatness. You have built-in greatness. Keep the faith, baby. As one person said, in life, you'll always be faced with a series of God-ordained opportunities, brilliantly disguised as problems and challenges. Oh, keep the faith. You were born to do great things.
I like to ask whether or not you have goals, but I want to ask you another question. How many of you know that if you had your life to live over again, you could do more than what you've done thus far? Raise your hands, please. Now, that proves the point that what we do and what we accomplish in life is only a tip of the iceberg of what's possible for us. So I want you to think about some goals that you'd like to achieve, and I'd like for you to, let's say, break them up in 3 categories. Number 1, I want you to think about some personal goal you'd like to achieve. And I'd like for you to think about some career goal, some business goal that you'd like to achieve. And I want you to think about some social contribution, some impact you'd like to make with your life. It was Horace Mann who said, we should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind. I believe we live in the greatest country in the world that gives us an opportunity to leave our mark, to make a statement with our lives. And as you think about these goals, whatever those goals are, I want you to dramatically increase those goals. And I want to warn you, I don't want you to think about how you're going to do it. How is none of your business. The most important thing is just to increase those goals dramatically. I've found that most people fail in life, not because they aim too high and miss. Most people fail in life because they aim too low and hit. And many don't aim at all. So raise the bar on yourself and don't ask how you're going to do it. I'll never forget when I decided that I wanted to become a motivational speaker. I saw the late Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, and my heart said, I can do that. But my mind asked the question, how? And for over 14 years, I would go see Zig Ziglar and Dr. Norman Vincent Peale and Jim Rohn and different speakers, and I would be in the audience, and my heart would pounce and say, you can do that, Les. And then when I would leave, I would be going to the parking lot, and my mind said, how are you going to do it? And I spent so many years trying to figure out how. I wasted 14 years. How many of you ever procrastinated? Raise your hands, please. Yeah, see, so as you begin to think about your goals, the most important thing is, and write this down, commit yourself. See, once you commit yourself, the how will come, the way will come. Once you commit yourself, you will then figure it out. And if you're going in the wrong direction, all you have to do is turn around and go in the other direction. You will figure it out. You want to begin to just challenge yourself. You want to stretch yourself because you really don't know what you can't do. I'll never forget the first day that I met Mr. Washington. I was born in a poor section of Miami, Florida called Liberty City. I was born in an abandoned building on a floor with a twin brother. And when we were 6 weeks of age, we were adopted. And when I was in the 5th grade, I was identified as EMR, labeled educable, mentally retarded, put back from the 5th grade into the 4th grade. And I failed again when I was in the 8th grade. I don't have any college education, but because of my mother, and I feel like Abraham Lincoln, who said, all that I am and all that I ever hope to be, I owe to my mother. I saw a sign once that said that God took me from my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. So my first major goal was to buy my mother a home, to take care of my mother. And I did that, took care of her until she passed at 88. But I'll never forget when I met Mr. Washington. I was in a class waiting on another student, and he came in and he said, young man, go to the board and work this problem out for us. I said, oh, sir, I can't do that. He said, why? I said, I'm not one of your students. He said, look at me. I said, yes, sir. Go to the board and work the problem out anyhow. I said, sir, I can't do what you're asking me to do. He said, why? Sir, because I'm educable, mentally retarded, sir. And as the students erupted in laughter, he came from behind his desk, he looked at me and he said, don't you ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. And that was a turning point in my life. On one hand, I was humiliated. But on the other hand, I was liberated. Because he looked at me with the eyes of Goethe, who said, look at a man the way that he is, he only becomes worse. But look at him as if he were what he could be, then he becomes what he should be. And so Mr. Washington, he challenged me. And I want to challenge you right now about raising your goals. And I want you to shake someone's hand on your right and left, look them in the eyes and say, stretch yourself. Yeah, see, I think that you really have to stretch yourself to discover your stuff. I think that we have to really begin to experiment with life. And I said that you have something special. I didn't say that just to be kind and courteous. You do. See, I think that there are not many people that come to seminars or workshops or will watch a program of this nature. Why? I just think that most people are just satisfied to where they are. I'm reminded of a man one day. He was walking down the street and he passed his porch where some people were on the porch talking, and there was a dog moaning and groaning. And he was curious why the dog was moaning and groaning. And he went back and he said, excuse me, he asked the owner, why is the dog moaning and groaning? The guy said, because he's laying on a nail. He said, well, why won't he get off? He said, it's not hurting bad enough for him to get off. Just hurting bad enough to moan and groan. How many of you know people who should be here? Raise your hands, please. How many of you know people, all they do is moan and groan? Moan and groan. I'm not making enough money. Moan and groan. I'm unhappy with my job. 87% of people go to jobs that they hate. And in addition to that, you know, as we know that we have the dubious distinction in this country that on Monday morning, the heart attack rate increases over 35%. On Monday morning between 6 o'clock and 9, people going to jobs that they hate. The heart said, didn't I tell you I didn't want to go, and attack them. Some of you don't want to go to work next Monday. So the thing is this, so you want to find out what resonates with you. What is it you really want to do? You want to experiment with life and find out what fits for you. You have something special. You have greatness within you. You have the ability to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. See, I believe that anybody through observation and practice can perform at the level of excellence. But when you're pursuing your greatness, and this is worth writing down, you don't know what your limits are, and you act like you don't have any. So I say to you, you have something special. You have greatness within you. And I want to make 4 things clear. Number 1, everything that I'm going to say, you already know it. If what I share, the message that I'm going to express right now and share with you, if it wasn't a part of who you are already, you wouldn't be in the audience. That's number 1. That's very important. It's already in you. I'm going to only confirm and validate that which is a part of you anyhow. The second thing is, everything I'm going to say to you, you've heard it before. From people with college degrees and credentials, I can't hold a candle to. It's common sense, but not common practice. Third thing is, I don't want you to agree with me, and I don't want you to believe me. I just want you to be open to some things right now. I want you to think beyond that which is commonly allowed. And I'm going to tell you what I'm up to. I want you to think about your goals, and I want to tell you what I'm going to do right now. My whole goal is to get past your mind. That's my whole challenge, and there's nothing you can do about it. I'm going to do that. See, your assignment was to show up. My assignment is to get past your mind and get into your heart. I want you to think about the goals that you want to achieve, and I really want to challenge you to make up your mind that you're going to make that happen for yourself. And I hope that it's some goal that really resonates with who you are. When I was a little boy, my goal was to just buy groceries for our family. My mother worked on Miami Beach. She was a domestic worker. And my goal was to really be able to go to the grocery store and purchase groceries ourselves. The families knew that my mother had adopted 7 children. And so they said, Mamie, whatever food is left over after we eat, you can take that home to the children. They were very kind, very, very considerate people. My mother, who when she worked on Miami Beach, the people were very kind. I was appreciative of their generosity. But as a little boy, I said, Mama, one day, when I become a big boy, I'm going to be able to buy groceries for us. My goal as a little boy was to buy clothes for my brothers and sisters. We wore the hand-me-down clothes of the children that Mama babysat for when she went over in Miami Beach. And if the clothes were too small, she would let them out. And if they were too large, Mama could sew and take them up. And I'll never forget David Sadursky. His father was very wealthy. Mama worked for him, but David was my buddy. And so his father gave him 2 gifts for his birthday. Gave him a brand new boat, but he also gave him some motivational tapes. Earl Nightingale, I'll never forget. So he said, David, man, let me tell you something. When I die, you're going to get everything. I want you to listen to these tapes. And when his father left the room, David threw those tapes in the wastebasket. I said, David, could I have those tapes? He said, yes. I said, man, your father said, if you listen to these, you can get more and do more than what he's done. He said, hey, look, I don't get everything anyhow. Go ahead and take them. I told my children, I'm not leaving them anything. You know, if I had a quarter and thought I was going to die, I'll swallow it. Write this down. It's not what you leave for your children, it's what you leave in them. Not what you leave for them, what you leave in them. No, absolutely not. I'll tell you something else happened. I never forget. Mama came home one day and said, Leslie, David sent you a new pair of shoes his father got for him. I said, oh, Mama, thank you so much. I can't wear David's shoes. I said, why? Well, you tell my buddy that, you know, I wear size 9.5. He wears size 9. She said, boy, shut up, sit down, and put those shoes on. She said, Marianne, go get some Vaseline. And she came in there, and my sister started rubbing the Vaseline on my feet. And she said, run some water in the bathtub. And she's now go in there and put your feet in those shoes and don't mash the heel down. I said, Mama, shut up, boy, don't mash the heel down. And then she had me to get in the bathtub. I said, Mama, these shoes hurt. She said, get in there and walk around in the water. And I'm walking around the bathtub. Then she tried to distract me. I knew what she was doing. How'd you do at school today? I did good. Did you get in any fights? No, ma'am. You know you fought somebody. Well, I only hit 3 people today. and then after a while, she said, how you doing? I said, well, they hurt. Do they hurt as bad as they were before? No, ma'am, they feel a little bit better. Keep on walking, keep on walking. And then after a while, when the leather soaked up the water, the leather began to stretch to a perfect 9.5. You think Fortune 500 companies started talking about doing more with less? My mother been doing that for a long time. It's amazing what you can do. But who would have thought, anybody looking in on this kid and these 7 children, who would have thought? And I look at you, I say, you have greatness within you. You have the ability to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. No one could have convinced me that I would be doing what I'm doing right now. You know, the easiest thing I do every year is to go into a sales organization and dramatically increase their sales, or go into a prison and enable prisoners to see themselves differently and teach them the methods and techniques of how to plug into the system, or motivate young people to begin to see how they can have a vision of themselves in the future and fit. That's the easiest thing I do, or train a speaker to help them to leverage their experience as a speaker and say, look, speaking is a projection of who you are, not who you think you ought to be, and come with power from a platform. That's the easiest thing I've ever done. Let me share with you the most difficult thing I've ever done. The most difficult thing I've ever done was to believe that I can do what I'm now doing. No one could have convinced me, just given my circumstances. I earn millions of dollars every year. No one could have convinced me. If both my parents came up here right now, I would not know either one. No one could have convinced me, being labeled educable, mental retarded, born in an abandoned building on the floor in Liberty City, poor section of Miami, Florida, failing twice in school, no college training, never worked for a major corporation. I did not know I can do what I'm doing right now. I'll never forget Mike Williams, my mentor. I think a lot of people fail in life because of the fact that they need some mentoring, they need some coaching. Repeat out to me, please. You need some coaching. Yeah, see, you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. I remember Mike saying, Les, you can do this. Mike, how, man? Wait a minute, Mike. How much am I going to be able to charge, Mike? Les, you could start out at $1,000 an hour. Mike, I don't make that working for 2 weeks. Come on, Mike. Man, I appreciate your belief in me, Mike. Look, Mike, I work for the Miami Sanitation Department, man. I've been a garbage collector. you know, I've done door-to-door sales. That was great. And, you know, I'm here as a disc jockey. That's good, Mike. But, Mike, I don't think I can do that, Les. You can. But, Mike, I don't have any credentials. I've never written any book, anything. Man, I'm not rich. How can I teach somebody to do something I've never done? But, Les, why don't you just test yourself? Why don't you stretch, Les? Come on, man. Mike, I don't know. And here's something I realized. Write this down. Sometimes you have to believe in somebody's belief in you until your belief kicks in. I respect Mike Williams. Here, this young man, he saw something in me that I didn't see it in strong analytical mind. And I looked at him. I always respected his thinking. And he looked at me and he made me feel special. And I said, okay, Mike. And I just kept holding on to what Mike said to me. I just kept holding on to what Mr. Washington said to me. I kept holding on to my mother saying, you're special, Leslie, when they said you're educable, mentally retarded. Mama didn't know what that meant. She only had a third-grade education. So she said, he'll be all right, honey. A hard head make a soft behind. He'll be fine. But she said, you're special, baby. You are special. And they kept saying that over and over again. Faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing. And so here's what I want you to do. Let us say together, as you think about your goals and your dream, let us say together, it's possible. Together, please. Say it like you mean it. Thank you. Write that down. See, most people never achieve their goals because most people suffer from possibility blindness. They look around trying to think about the things that they don't have. Robert Roots, young man who wrote a book about success principles of the three little pigs. He said, it's not what you don't have, it's what you think you need that keeps you from being successful or happy in life. It's not what you don't have. See, I was focused on what I didn't have. Don't have a college degree, don't have any credentials, never worked for a major corporation. I was focused on the negative things. It said, negative things are the things that you see when you're not focused on your goal. What do you come with? What is it that you have within you that you showed up to bring? Hey, Les, you don't know, but my dream is a long shot. A friend of mine, Dexter Yeager, said, when the dream is big enough, the odds don't matter. I'm reminded of a great man. When I was reading Time magazine talking about some of the great minds of the last century, they didn't mention his name, Dr. Howard Thurman, one of the mentors of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and also an advisor to Mahatma Gandhi and Albert Schweitzer. And he said, the ideal situation for a man or woman to die is to have family members standing around their bed praying with them as they cross over. But imagine, if you will, being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the dreams given to you by life, the ideas that you never acted on, the talents, the gifts, the abilities that you never used. And there they are, standing around your bed, looking at you with large, angry eyes, saying, we came to you, and only you could have given us life. And now we must die with you forever. And the question is, if you died this very moment, what will die with you? What dreams? What ideas? What talents? What leadership potential? What greatness that you showed up to bring? That you allowed fear or procrastination to hold you back? Perhaps that's why Henry David Thoreau wrote the words, oh God, to reach the point of death, only to realize that you've never lived, only to realize that you've never scraped the surface of your potential. Repeat after me, please, with power, feeling, and conviction. I refuse to die an unlived life. Yes, shake someone's hand on your right and left and say, live your dream. Yeah, I think we should all resolve. I refuse to die an unlived life. Don't worry about the odds. You survived 1 out of 40 million sperms. You will never have those odds again. You beat those odds, you can win anything. Here's something else stop most people. You know what it is? Failure. Let us say together, I will fail my way to success. Yes, write that down. I will fail my way to success. See, 8 out of 10 millionaires have been financially bankrupt. 85% of people allow their fear of failure to outweigh their desire to succeed. And I believe that the reason that most people go so far in life and stop, Maya Angelou said it best. She wrote a poem. She said that most people go so far in life and then they park. They pull off the highway of life, especially when they get some hits, especially when they've been rejected, especially if they have an illness, especially if they lose something. They park. And I take it further. They don't even turn on their emergency lights. It's not because that they are broken down. They don't want anybody to stop and say, hey, look here, I've got some jumping cables in my trunk. You need a jump? Hey, look here, there's a service station ahead about 3 or 4 miles. I have a can. I can take you up there and get some gasoline. Oh, no, I'm just fine. I had a talk show once, and highest rated, fastest canceled talk show in the history of television. Well, at least I had one. And I was excited. You know, when time I came into television years ago, television was based upon conflict and controversy. So I said, I want a solution-oriented talk show. First concept of that kind. High ratings. And the syndicators say, you just got lucky. Come on, let's do these other type of shows. You can be a Jerry Springer. Oh, no, that's not why I came here. No, I believe that we live in the greatest country in the world where we should hold ourselves to certain standards. I'm not going to come here and sell out on who I am. I'm not going to compromise. I'm not going to lower my standards for you. No, that's not why I showed up. And so they fired me. Security walked him out. I said, I can walk by myself. But let me tell you what happened. I took a hit and I parked. It wasn't that I didn't have the ability to do more. My concept was good. But what happened when I took the hit, when they canceled the show, I canceled myself. When they said the show is going to be taken off television, it won't work, I told myself, Les, you can't succeed in television. And I parked. You know what I did? I went back to my comfort zone. As a motivational speaker, at least I'm doing better than most people. That's nothing to compare yourself to worse that other people are doing and then make yourself feel better. No, I parked. I didn't have my emergency lights on. I didn't want to show up on the radar. I parked. You know how long I parked? I parked for 10 years. Do you hear me? Now, unlike Regis Philbin, when his shows were canceled, he kept going, he kept going, he kept going, and he got other shows. I bet you somebody gave him a push. Somebody said, hey, you need a lift? I didn't even make that an option for me. I got off the highway, I went back to my comfort zone, and I parked. The show failed, and I identified myself as a failure. And guess something happened. One day, just flipping the channels, looking at PBS, and saw Wayne Dyer, my friend Wayne Dyer. And I said, wait, we're both in our 60s. Wayne is still doing it. Wow, the little hair he has, it's gray, he's still there. I said, hey, I've got some more stuff in me. I've got another PBS special in me. I've got some other ideas. You know, Oprah and Phil, they're doing my stuff. Maybe I need to come back out here. And I went back and started calling PBS and different people. They said, Les, what happened to you? I said, well, I didn't know whether or not anybody would be interested in me because the show was canceled. No, you had some good ideas. And when they said, yeah, we would love to do a show with you, I said, you would? They said, yes. And when I went into the studio and people that worked with 10 years ago, they were still there. And I said, you guys, you know, do you guys still have it? They said, we have it. Do you have it? I said, I think so. And I did the show, and I wasn't as good as I was 10 years ago because I was off the highway. I'd gotten off the highway of life. I'd been parked for so long. It's taking me some time to get my strength back, to find my power, to get my confidence back. But at least I'm back out there in the game, determined to dry empty. So I say to you, see, I only attract millionaires or millionaires in training. He's going to get that in a minute. You have something special. You have greatness within you. And the only reason you're here, you are my assignment. You can feel me. Some of you feel me right here in your heart of hearts. And my goal is to get past your mind and into your heart. So it's necessary that you have the mindset that I can do this. You've got to begin to believe and to fortify that belief and feed that belief by listening to tapes, going to seminars and workshops, by challenging yourself, by stretching yourself. It was Osborne who said, unless you attempt to do something beyond that which you've already mastered, you will never grow. And as you begin to challenge yourself, you'll discover some things about yourself that you don't know right now. The other thing is you begin to look at yourself, look at your dreams, and begin to experiment and stepping into your greatness. One of the things that's very important, whatever goals and dreams that you have, repeat after me, please. Make your move before you're ready. You have Price Pritchett, who's a great motivator and trainer. He said, make your move before you're ready. We're instructed in life to walk by faith and not by sight. See, you want to really begin to stretch yourself. You want to become a risk taker. You want to raise the bar on yourself. Most people won't do that. See, most people engage in low-life living, low-risk living. Viscott said, if you're not willing to risk, you cannot grow. And if you cannot grow, you cannot become your best. And if you cannot become your best, you can't be happy. And if you can't be happy, then what else is there? I like what Helen Keller said, life is short and unpredictable. Eat the dessert first. And so, you want to begin to take some chances. You want to begin to challenge yourself and make it okay to fail and learn from your failures. Don't allow fear of failure and the allure, the attractiveness of playing it safe in life to draw you in. You can't get out of life alive. You've got to die to leave here.
And I want you to write this down. Resilient, purpose-driven mindset. Resilient, purpose-driven mindset. That with all the stuff that's going on, with all of the confusion from the scientific community, from the leadership, from the presidency on down, it has collateral effect. And there are so many people that's confused. You wear the mask so you don't have to wear the mask. Or if you have the coronavirus, you need to wear the mask so you don't give it to somebody else. And if you have it, you should stay in the house. They got all kind of things. If you make love, you should have the mask on. That is not romantic to me. You know, I say, wait a minute, y'all coming all up in the bedroom. Okay, baby, put your mask on. Well, how am I gonna kiss you with my mask on? Kind of, you know, all this stuff going on, and you could die from talking to somebody with a mask that's held under their nose. You know why my hair is like it and I'm looking like Kid and play like Kid from House Party? Because my barber, he likes to wear his mask like this. I said, man, put your mask on, all right? I told him. So he does this. Hey, hello? Habla español, English? What? Come on, have I told? Put your mask on, cover your mouth. I know your breath kicking like Bruce Lee, but cover the nose too. It's, I mean, about to make me lose my mind over here. So I decided I'm not going through that. I'm not going through that. I'm not coming out the house till 2027. And I work on myself. I got some new squirrel friends. I'm bilingual. I speak squirrely. And I listen to motivational messages first thing in the morning. You want to listen to my voice. Go on YouTube. Find Les Brown speaking in the Georgia Dome. Find Les Brown. It's possible. And I tell the story about the bamboo tree. Find Les Brown getting unstuck. And I talk about Chicken Man. Listen to things. Listen to me. Listen to things that can build your mental resiliency. You want to have a resilient, purpose-driven mindset that will focus your mind on the goals that you want to achieve, on the things that you need to do, to reinvent yourself, to rethink your life, to see whether or not you're on the path to becoming the next greatest version of yourself. And in order to get through this time, I mean, sometimes when I wake up in the morning, I said, this is still not a dream. This is crazy. People say, I'd like to come by and see you. Is that right? Okay, I'm on the first floor. We can talk through the window. Come on. I mean, just think about this. Every day when I see people with masks on looking outside my window, seeing the squirrels jumping from one tree to the other, they never lose their footing. That's why I learned squirreling. Tyrone, he's leading everybody. He's introducing everybody to me. He's the most motivated squirrel in my neighborhood. Les Brown is about to do his StreamYard or another Zoom. My kids say I've been in the house too long. I'm suffering from cabin fever. Whatever. So read 30 to 40 pages of something positive every day. Drill yourself. You say, well, I've listened to it. No. Listen to it until you're manifesting results. Faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing. So in order to develop that resilient, purpose-driven mindset, you want to listen to the messages over and over, take notes on things that jumps out for you and become the embodiment of it and develop that kind of mindset and how you carry yourself and how you face this thing called life. Faith not tested can't be trusted. So you got to have faith in yourself. But we're being tested right now. If you've never been tested, listen to me. No test, no testimony. Faith not tested can't be trusted. It's easy to have faith when things are going great. When the kids are acting like they have good sense. When you have a job, you have money, you have your health. Whoa, no big deal there. But when life knocks on the door, when you go through some stuff, when you get a bad diagnosis, that's when you have to pull on your faith. That's when you have to be resilient. I've got a saying, and all of you know it, life knocks you down, try and land on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up. Now, here's the other thing that's very important. As you look at yourself, you want to master at least three things, multiple streams of income. Three things: I speak, I train speakers, and I'm an author. And I got other things I'm expanding, and I'm 75. Well, why are you still doing it? Because you're never too old to learn, and you're never too young to teach. I believe that the reason that we look at people over a certain age and Alzheimer's and dementia becomes active is because they are inactive. My mother used to say it, if you don't use it, you lose it. It takes longer to wear out than to rust out. So the goal is to be actively engaged in life, raising the bar on yourself. Turn down the amount of time that you spend entertaining yourself, watching the television, as my daughter, Dr. Ona Brown, would say, and do things that will stimulate your thinking. It will keep you young. Just because you're 75, chronologically don't mean that you have to look 75. No. And so I decided, just because I'm 75, you're not going to count me out. I'm still here. I'm going to be engaged in this thing called life because I have not done my best work yet. You have not done your best work yet. Every day is the best day of your life, as Orrin Hudson would say out of Atlanta, the chess master. Why? Because if you don't believe that, try missing a day. Every day is the best day of your life. Look for ways in which you can begin to master something, learn something today that you did not know yesterday. Expand your horizon, expand your vision of what's possible for you. Continuously be a student. My high school theme was, you never find out how much you know until you find out how little you know. Study. The people that are going to make it today are looking at the various trends. They're going from mindset mastery, learning 3 things that they can master to create non-performance income, and they're studying continuously, learning things that they can get at the end of their fingertips on the internet. There's no excuse today for not being in the mindset of achieving something beyond that which you have already done. Life is an adventure. Helen Keller said life is either a daring adventure or it's boring. And this is an exciting time that you can earn money at the comfort of your home. Think about that. Virtually around the world. I just finished talking to some people in Germany. And then I talked to some people in Toronto, Canada. I'm making money around the world and I'm still home, virtually. Take advantage of this. This is something you want to learn, mindset mastery and skill set mastery of the internet. And I've just been reflecting after spending time in New Delhi, India, and now here, on how blessed and how fortunate we are. It's a beautiful culture, hard-working people. There's a lot of beauty, and there's also some challenges. People on top of people, very congested, but great possibilities. I always say when I'm in any area, if it's in Liberty City or Overtown in Miami where I was raised, or in Chicago, and I see poverty, I always say to myself, these bones can live. They can. And I believe that when I look at my life, at this stage of my life, I've got to step up. I believe that there's a greater calling for me and people like yourself who want to make a difference to step up. Look at all the things that's existing in the world today, all the conflict and the violence. Look at what's happening to those young girls in Nigeria that's not in the headlines anymore. When you think about the airline from Malaysia that has disappeared and there's nothing else about that, and what's happening in the Gaza Strip, and all of the things that's happening in the Ukraine, and the political turmoil that's happening nationally and domestically. I believe that the world exists as it does because the people who are representing darkness are working harder than people who are representing light. And I believe that societies and countries are created by people, and they can be changed by people. And the secret is to maintain commitment through all our frustrations, through all our disappointments, and everything that we will go through in attempting to changing the way that we function as human beings. I believe evil prevails when good men and women do nothing. That we just have to step up, men and women outside of politics and outside of religion, both of which I believe unwittingly polarize and divide people, just everyday people, average people who've decided to live an extraordinary life and to live a contribution, to decided that you're going to be a manufacturer of light, that you're going to do what you can, where you are, with what you have. I'm just thinking, I'm just saying, I'm just saying. I believe we can make a difference. I believe we need to step up.